Hello folks, Blue here. More standard action for you folks. This time around I'm bringing you a match which was recorded a few days ago. That's basically a brew versus a real deck versus a, let's say, top tier deck, I should say. Now I think you can call Esper Aggro tier 1. And then the first one is a really wicked brew. This is basically Grixis Eldrazi, and probably not the best possible version of it in those colors, but you can do like interesting stuff. The core is still there, but as for colored spells, then well, there are options what you can do. um, I think because of stuff like Smasher and some flyers, you don't really need red that much. You either want black for sideboard cards like Dispossess and Lost Legacy, or Transgress to mine, but you might actually be fine with just blue in that deck, because that gives you access to Sky Spooner that can speed up Smashers and Drowners, and also you can actually play Drowners in a deck, and then it gives you access to a bunch of counter spells and stuff, so that you don't just deal with Marvel Brings, but you just counter it on the way in. Same for Willamog and stuff. Um, so yeah, first of all, you probably need blue in that deck in standard. While the deck is still there, it's not gonna be for too long. It's just this summer. So with the next block, it's actually the deck is gone. Maybe it even gets some toys from the Hour of Devastation in next month, but I don't think there's gonna be anything crazy for it. So Wandering Wilds is in the deck because we have 3 colors and also because we have wastes. So that's a card to fetch sometimes. It might be important. Had a tap land, cycle land and Aspire. And Harlequin, his turn 2 was just this basically mana dork that doesn't really even attack. It's there to accelerate, sometimes jump, things like that. The deck has just quite a few heavy cards. Okay, turn 3 Smasher is not really all that exciting. I think this Grixis deck definitely should have more interaction, but because I just wanted to, see what the actual theme of a deck can do. That's why it doesn't really have much interaction main deck, but it does have a lot of usual stuff in the sideboard that you can expect in those colors in an aggro deck. But main deck, I think, is just a couple of fatal pushes, so not that much of interaction going on there. There probably should be more ways to interact with your opponent in game 1. Okay, just tap land and pass, which is kind of weird. I guess I was sitting on rebuke and kind of things like that, so that's exactly what happened, yeah. So my memory doesn't, trick me here. Okay. He still has 4 mana up. He has a waste and he has that mana dork. But it seems like he cannot cast a 5-drop. 5-drop, which is probably what prevents him from going complete bananas. Yeah, I countered the spawner with the Queller. I'm happy to catch something here, actually. Plus I know that he doesn't have much of interaction. In game 1 at least. There's a chance that he can push the Queller later in the game, but, well, Now I just need to place some creature and keep money up for some counters or something. Okay, here's a Scrounger. Don't think yeah, so attacking with Queller makes perfect sense here. I'm not gonna block with it, and then, well, it doesn't help me to crew the heart. Okay, here's a Smasher. That's a liability. Yeah, he has to attack with both, I think, here. Yeah, I would attack with both here, actually. I'm not sure if keeping Reshaper at bay makes much sense. Well, you're attacking with Smasher here for sure. The problem I have with keeping Reshaper in defense is that, well, next turn I'm likely just to, use the Scrounger to crew up the heart and rather keep on defense whatever next creature I play. I really have to raise here. Rebuke would have been excellent here because then I would have just countered that Smasher. But there were only two in the decklist because I think that's the build that's went top 4 in Amsterdam. It's not any one of those from Manila, so yeah. Or Moto. Yes, Conjure gets into the heart, so Kraken in for 6, he's at 12, I'm at 9, but there is Smasher that tramples, so that's a liability. Okay, those selfless spirits are the glory something initiate, so the free ones with Exert. I later got them, but not right there. I didn't want to, proxy them in an ugly way. Okay, here's a Footnote here that's just gonna take one of the Avacins. He definitely can keep me up with a redundant copy of the heart. So that's what I would do. But I think he just gets rid of the heart because, well, I can't currently cast Avacin, and this is not selfless, that's initiate, so no triggers on that. Oh, okay. So that's why he took the card, because he had the push there. Okay, initiates trades with the Reshaper. Smasher got in for 5, I'm down to 4. Right, yeah, things are pretty tough here. So, Initiate comes in with Exert, so this is 4 for a lifelinker. He's not gonna block this one for sure. I'm just taking a dice just as a reminder that has been exerted. Okay, so 8 to 8. The Smasher is really annoying here. That list had, what was it, 2 cast out? No snare main deck. And this is the 2-4 guy that basically says that all colorless stuff is 1 mana cheaper. Well, that's all the stuff but creatures, as I remember. Cheaper for 1. So yeah, I can go straight blue-red and just play those guys. Okay, here's the Inspector, but it's not gonna help all that much. When did I... Okay, looks like I did flash in Avacin at the end of his turn. That's why he's at 4. All I need to do here is just not to die. And yeah, the 2-mana Mirandork maybe doesn't really belong to this deck, but I wanted extra 2-drops that would accelerate the game, and plus they synergize with that 2-4 that makes them cheaper, and so on. So you can go with this guy turn 2 into the 2-4 turn 3 plus something else, etc. But yeah, probably should have been Scroungers. Okay, second Smasher, and now I'm screwed. Big times. Well, actually, not necessarily, unless he has... No, he doesn't have anything. So... But they trample. Scrounger cannot block, so this way... What is it? I go down to 3. And I still have lethal on board. Yeah. Well, not sure. Yeah, the initiates go down tap. So he does have a blocker, but that's still gonna be lethal, I think. Because Queller didn't die. So I'll have those 3. Okay, he does have a second blocker. But any removal kills him. Any removal does heal him. That's, by the way, a 2-mana 1/4 that basically gets a attack boost for each colorless creature play that turn, or whichever enters, I think. Let's initiate. So get to gain some life here. Plus, it's probably my last turn, so I'm definitely exerting it. I'm definitely exerting it. Yeah, I have to attack with everything here. Oh yeah, it wasn't lethal. Okay, I didn't have removal, so that's why, I guess. Okay, I'm at 7, but there are still 2 smashers, which I have to do something about. And I don't think I had an answer here. I really would have wanted to, but was I just flooded here crazily? I know, I have another Avacyn. So that's the thing. I think I have another Avacyn coming up here. So I still have 1 more turn. But he can just choose not to attack. Okay, but I think that's lethal. Because that's just so many attackers. That's the 5/3 that with haste. It doesn't trample, but there's just way too many haste guys. Just way too many haste guys. I guess that's why you put them into your deck, because sometimes you just get to kill them out of nowhere. Cycle land, just press another land, there's Queller, so yeah, I needed the Stasis Near or something. And not just this turn, maybe even earlier. Close one. Really not the best draws on my side. So Harvester coming in, something that most builds actually don't have in the sideboard. I don't have it anymore because I shifted towards the build that's went second in vanilla. 2 ships, 2 decks, the stone, extra land, fumigate, stays near, Saurians. So rebuke number 3 and 4 stay in. No negates in the sideboard of this build, though there probably should be. And currently I'm at 3 rebukes main and 2 negates side, actually, because that's what was in the build that gets second in Manila. He's bringing an expulsion, Addict on a Stick guy, couple Transgress, and maybe the Tyrant or whatever that 5-mana 5/3 is called, that basically says pay 3, sacrifice another Eldrazi, and then you get to shoot somewhere equal to power. So that could be pretty sweet. So it's kind of like a fling that actually attacks us damage, and you can, you know, cash in something if you really need to. It's not amazing, but it seemed like something that's worth trying in this deck. It does die to Harnessed, but if it doesn't, then, well, can do stuff. You can speed it up with the 1/4 guy that makes all your colorless guys cheaper, and or with the dork, so yeah, there are ways. Okay, he decided to take out those 2-mana 1/4s. What did I take out? Because I'm bringing in sweepers, so, and because I do want to block and or remove guys. So okay, I took out one cast out, it seems. Took out Scroungers and Quellers and something else. I don't know. Rebuke probably just rebukes. Rebukes are generally, or basically any counter spells are bad against aggro, unless you're a control deck. And countering and killing and drawing cards is what you do. So in blue-red you would bring in stuff like Essence Scatter. But if you're an aggro deck that kind of sides into this mid-range plan, then probably you're just relying on creature trades, removal, and sweepers, basically. And planeswalkers, of course. And vehicles like Flagship. Flagship is no star here. That he would have very little ways to interact with this particular build, but this build is just far from ideal. Even stuff like Drowner Hub would be amazing against the Flagship. But there aren't any. I wanted to have a faster deck, but don't remember if we started here, whether we're in the switching mode or just best of 3 mode. Okay, I'm just showing him my hand, kinda asking a lot. I need color source, but yeah. Mulligan is fine. Now, by the way, this is sped up 50%, so not even sped up by 2 times, so it doesn't really look like turbo, because we're normally fast players, but in test matches sometimes we're kind of, you know, kind of trying to explain to each other like what's the play. Well, yeah, in the tournaments we will play like much faster, but we don't have a clock here, so this is why we're kind of, you know, taking our time but still playing at a reasonable speed. But because I want this to be dynamic, so I sped this up a little bit, just enough so that you don't fall asleep or anything, because I'm trying to be entertaining and try to explain everything that's happening. But yeah, it's not all the time something totally bananas happens in Magic, especially in Standard, where a lot of the decks are just standard and doing their standard things, so to speak. Okay, it's a fine land, but nothing much. Cycling cast out end of turn. Now hitting Inspector. Oh yeah, there is a chance that I probably took out the Toolcraft. Oftentimes when you bring in the longer game you take them out. Especially when you're bringing the sweepers. Nah, that's a good idea. And that's probably what you do when you play against red-green decks. Okay, here's that mana dork that's not gonna get countered because I don't even have blue mana source. Well, now I have it. So technically I can Queller here if I have it in my hand. Let's hope I do. Because that's the turn where he could potentially go all in, Floodnotes or you. So I would love to have the Queller here. In the vacuum. Okay, here's that one for that I still want to counter, I think. Just to keep the tempo. Maybe I had a second one, I'm not sure. But yeah, so I actually, it looks like I kept at least one in the deck somehow. Even though I think it was correct to actually take him all out. But I'm not so sure, like, they're good for tempo. And then after all, I brought in the Dusk Dawn. That can return them back. Problem is, if there has been like something like Fortnite Surrender and if a Queller and then you are forced to cast a Fumigate, it's not gonna look good. Okay, Queller, Seer takes an Avacyn out of my hand. Okay, cycling, trying to dig for some action. Still haven't ever clue. Well, I can crack him for some damage. I'm definitely not actually blocking with the Queller. Okay, I'm pushing him down to 9, so playing the tempo game is pretty nice here, I guess. This is also a build with only 2 Abyssins and no Selfless. So that's kind of tricky. I'm not really sure. There's a chance that the straight blue-white build is better overall. But I just like the vehicles package, since it really gives you a pretty solid game 1 in terms of tempo. You're much faster against zombies, for example. If they don't hit removal for that hard occurring, they're in trouble. Things like that. Okay, jump the footnotes here with the inspector. Okay, the 1/4. Yeah, the money in the Eldrazi deck is really not that amazing. That's for sure. Yeah, imagine the mana dorks would be scroungers. Probably would have been a different game. But then again, this would mean no blockers for him. So who knows? Who knows? Maybe it could have been something else. It's too bad without, any fast mana, any fast lands. I mean, in terms of getting double mana. The Mimic Endless One plan doesn't really work. When you reduce the cost of Endless One, it doesn't really synergize well. the other mimic that basically puts put counters on your dudes, because you just gonna name Eldrazi with it pretty much all the time. So that one is probably a good 2-drop for this deck instead of this Mana Dork. Forgot it. It's also something mimic. Uh, Forgot to name, but yeah, you know it. The tribal artifact guy. So what happened next? Okay, he's trying to Alpha Strike Gideon because it's really a problem here. I'm just jumping to keep it alive there. Because it looks like I'm actually kind of short on action. I really need some Fumigate or something along those lines. Duskstone doesn't do much. Okay, it's a land that he sees in my hand from Footnotes here. Okay, Castanence. Tracking the Klee with top deck Inspector. I can make a token, but it just doesn't look like I'm getting through with these draws. If I don't draw Fumigate, I'm done. I'm done here. So Gideon is probably gonna bite the dust here. Don't think I can save it here, because he knows the card in my hand. Okay, Footnote series are definitely going in together with the 2/4s, I guess. What's that? Is that the third 2/4? Or is it something else? Not sure. I traded with my 2 guys for something. Okay, here's an Allison that can eat a Footnotes here. All I need to do is to try to draw into a Fumigate. Duskstone doesn't do a whole lot here. Let's say if he is actually himself light on action. The value land you see on his side of the board is basically the shock one, so he can pay 5 to deal 2 somewhere. That's the point. 2 attacks from Avacyn now, though, actually keep me alive. Okay, here is Saurian that basically does a whole lot of work here. If he would have had some smashers this game, or spawners, or drowner, then he probably would have pushed ahead, but here, nah. Here are basically stabilized. And yeah, he didn't board in many answers to things like Avacyn, so yeah. Here's a heart that I can, you know, block with. Just something. Yeah, he's had it. He's had it. He has had it. So moving on to post-cyber games then. Yeah, the matchup is actually quite intense. When I built that Grixis Eldrazi deck, I didn't really expect it to be this crazy and this grindy. And yeah, if you haven't heard the news, goodbye Marvel for Standard, well, which is a good preemptive thing. I think they had to do it eventually because it's not just this, but the cat will be with us for a really long time. Otherwise, so yeah, that was pretty good. So I just heard the news. And yeah, it's nice. On the other hand, this Esper Aggro, or basically any blue-white temple variant, is now actually doesn't really make sense anymore. So yeah, and now you can just keep on playing Mardu or Blackgreen without any fear. And yeah, so what was generically good in general? Constrictor decks and the Mardu. So yeah, but luckily, because we had so much of Marvel and a few other things, that kind of inspired people to brew all the flavors of red, green, blue, red control, things like that. So yeah, now you really don't have a good reason to play straight blue-white, I think. So yeah, if I had my, well, although this weekend when I'll be actually playing the deck at the PPTQ, I hope it will have enough people. There's Showdown the same day. Okay, look at this kind of start. So yeah, he had a Manadoric, which is enabling him now to cast a turn 3 Seer. But yeah, whatever he takes here, well, he obviously he takes the Declaration. I'm a bit, well, not really mana screwed, but not much going on. Well, Toolcrafts are kind of a bit sad here because they're not really attacking into Seer. So I need a Gideon or something here. Oh, right, so here's that 5-3 dude. But it's not really good right now, because it, like, well, I have the Initiate though, so that's the thing. That is the thing. Interestingly, there are no really big tournaments. I'm not going to any GPs of the summer, so except for nationals, standard is not gonna be that big for me. Okay, well, there is gonna be one more PPTQ in the middle of the country in July. Beginning of July, so 2 or 3 weeks. Okay, I attacked with Initiate. I don't know if I exerted. I think I did because I placed a random dice next to it. Here's a spawner. That's not gonna help a whole lot because he already had access to 5 mana. And there is no Drowner of help in this deck, even though there probably should be. But yeah, now he can, eat some Suns or Spawner to just kick the Initiates and stuff like this. Okay, I do get to draw a card, I think, because it's not when it dies, I think it's when it leaves play. With the footnotes here. Okay, I was just waiting for him to do this. In response to Snare Trigger. So he aided to kill a Toolcraft. Now I can attack. He ate what? He can hit a Inspector here without trouble. Yeah, probably smart to keep the spawner around. Yeah, this Tyrant or Proton or whatever that red creature is. Well, it's not actually red, but it's interesting, but maybe slightly not good enough. If there would be any land to support Eldrazi, then maybe. Otherwise, just too slow. Doesn't die to a push though, but does die to grasp, for example. Okay, here's a Smasher, but he can't attack with it here. Yeah, it seems like we messed up here a bit with the phone and the life total, so that you can see them. I don't know how did I do that, but yeah. He took some damage. I don't think I took much. Didn't really have to hurt myself with the Spire this game. Not really. Okay, I suppose Exert initiates or not. Okay. So I just had an Avacyn, so I didn't have a reason to exert. So I hit his spawner. He still has a Smasher. Doesn't have a Brutant. So things are looking pretty good here for me. There's no Master Removal in that deck, not even Sweltering Suns, which probably should be in the sideboard of this deck if you have access to that mana. I mean, access to red. Because then Smashers don't die, the, well, potential Drowners down, Spotno Seers down, so yeah, it does make sense to play Suns in that deck too. Just like in that Blue-Red Tempo, of which I have 2 more tapes coming up, and I believe it's against this Esper Aggro. Yep. Okay, so Avacyn flies in. I think he still has a decent amount of life points to work with here, but it's tricky. Has mana up to actually kill it by putting Smasher into it. It's weird what he's doing here, so he wants me to flip Avacyn. I don't know if that's any good at all. Okay, so it is gonna flip here. But, yeah, so what is it? We'll have to cut here, because now we will be discussing, trying to figure out what happens and how he can respond to it and what he can do about it, and how this whole thing is going to interact, and so forth, so on. La-di-da-di-da. But, I think I did already make some cuts. Maybe I just did the cuts but didn't have time to voice over. Okay, so cutting through all the discussion and basically an actual judge call. So he's gonna do it the right way, which is just prevent it from flipping, and nothing actually gonna happen. So basically just threatens to flip, and with the flip trigger on the stack, he's just gonna get rid of it in his upkeep. So nothing's gonna actually die, or nobody's gonna receive damage. Okay, but now we fixed the or placed at the right point the fun with the life points app, and as you can see, he's on the verge of actually dying here. For examples, so I'm just gonna, I think, end of his turn, crack those close to draw into something meaningful. This makes the toolcraft kind of sad, but I just need some way to get through here, really. And at the moment it doesn't look that great. He has a couple of signs, because he did cast 2 spawners in this game. So those are good blockers, etc. Okay, here's a Gideon that's probably gonna die in some way. He can run a spawner into it and just throw it again at the Gideon with the ability. So he's gonna die, so... But, I don't know, he could... I think getting a token is the right call here. I could have plussed it, but I think an extra 2/2 on board actually makes more sense here. Yeah. Yeah, I need some kind of fumigate here, at least into some good action again. I wouldn't count fumigate as action. This is just interaction and mitigation, if that's a word. So what now? He definitely gets rid of Gideon, but if he doesn't have any action here to add to the board, I'm probably in decent shape. So Spawner is gonna go away, most likely. Then he has 3 real blockers, and he's gonna tap 3, so, well, because of the Signs in the Door, he still gonna have quite a decent amount of mana to work with to cast something meaningful this turn if he drew anything real. Yeah, I need to draw Sorin or Flagship here to really push through here. Okay, so that's what's gonna happen. That's even better, I guess, for him. He can even keep the mana for the ability up, so he just bounced the token and dealt to Gideon. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool, I must admit. So yeah, still mana up for the ability. Still some mana up for the ability. What can I do to, you know, make this better? Okay, yeah, counting what could happen here. Okay, I'm actually gonna make a quick speed up here, because there's still a few minutes left of this video. Okay, doesn't seem like I was able to, but there is not that much left, so hold on. There, okay, I'm tipping 6, that probably is good news. Okay, there is soaring. So, yeah, killing off the tyrant or whatever. It says other creatures, so he can't really kill off Sorin now. Did I go for plus? I did go for plus. Well, he's at 4. Okay, that makes more sense, actually. That kind of makes more sense. Maximum he can do with it. Okay, he's gonna just... Okay. Yeah, I suppose that makes most sense. So he threw a sign at the Tollcrafts. He really needs to get rid of this Sorin. But it's at 7. Well, he can easily put it down to 4. But is that... So he needs a Smasher or something, or some removal. Let's see. He can put it down to 2. Yeah, if he's gonna attack with his 5/3, yeah, definitely blocking. Unless it goes to me, but I don't think it will. Drowner would be amazing here, obviously. I don't know why I decided not to put it into the deck. So the deck would really need a lot of reconfiguration. But yeah, I don't know what 2 drops the deck would want to play. Probably keeping the Monodorics, but I don't know if the 1/4 actually is worth the slot. Probably it is. It's a decent attacker. I don't think there are better options. Okay, there's one that mills the 2 mana flare, and there's the one that makes some sacrifice of that if you pay 2 extra, but they don't feel too great. Probably just playing one or the other Mimic is just the way to go if you want to try to play this deck before it rotates out. Okay, he hit the 5/3 flyer, which was enough to get rid of the Sorin. He is a 2. How do I get through? I think now we're at the point where I just can't do anything. Okay, a second Sorin would seal the deal. A flagship would still be something, because then I could just kill the flyer or kill the 5/3 and then, you know, push through. Okay, that gets rid of the 5/3. He gets a clue. I then attack. He just takes it because the difference is pretty small. Maybe I would have blocked. Okay, here's heart. And that's initiate. That's not selfless. So, he cannot kill me now. I have also that's a selfless, so that's initiate, so I can actually animate the heart now. And he does have the spawner to jump next turn, but of course if I draw removal, that's it. So he needs some flyers or some interaction. What is it? He cracked a clue to try to draw into something. Yeah, because this is not the best build, this was just a quick throw in. Putting stuff together. I did think through a lot of bits with this stack when I made it, but didn't spend enough time building it, or rather optimizing it. Okay, cycling the land. Yeah, now that Marvel is gone, then actually playing some kind of Eldrazi deck makes way more sense, even at tournaments. And now weird decks like Reservoir Combo also make more sense. There's still blue-red control, which you can never win against. And then, what else? Some aggro decks could have nut draws, and then there's nothing you can do. But yeah. So I'm definitely not taking Reservoir this weekend, but maybe to the next MtG I'll play if I feel like I can generically beat aggro decks, and maybe that's a deck now. Because with Marvel Gun, like, what's our degenerate thing you can do in the format? It's the only remaining somewhat playable combo left in Standard then. Okay, he just packs it in. Nothing to address the flyers. Not enough pressure. So it seems like I dealt with the Smasher somehow, or he just scooped it in. But yeah, you saw what happened. Yep. I could even take the hits from Smasher. It wasn't really something that would have helped him in here. I don't think there is another game hidden in here in the tape we're just setting now. Yeah, Sweltering Suns would have been cool, especially against this build without Selfless, which I think should be in the deck in some numbers. Sorin was great. Flagship would have been absurd. Flagship would have been absurd. So yeah, not the best sideboard. Transgress is kind of okay, just to prevent getting wrecked from Gideon or Evison or Fumigate or something like that. Yeah, takes a flagship, takes away Sorin. Taking away Dusk Dawn is ridiculous because of the flashback on that card. Okay, so as I said, so took out took Tool Crafts, took out Spawners, took out Rebukes, Scroungers, Squillers, and brought in all this mid-range game. What did he actually take out? He didn't show it. I know it was those um, red 2-drops and something else. Not exactly remember. What was the 5th card that he took out? Could have been anything. I think after you take out that 2-drop, there are no bad choices in terms of what to take out. Not really. Yep. Okay, I think I can actually even add this vid here. Try to cut the extra tail. So yeah, thanks guys. Don't forget to subscribe, but check the links in the description below. Check the blog, so occasionally I do read strategy articles, stuff like that. Don't really stream Moto, but I stream a bunch of other card games, so check me out on Twitch, and yeah, good luck at your tournaments. Until the next sale, bye.